guys, so what we've done here is I've cut the outer quarter panel off. Now, the quarter panel always wraps inside the door, and they spot weld in there. So you can take it completely right off there. This is the inner lip that's in behind the quarter panel, if that makes sense to you. If I get this door open, you can see this lip stays here, and the quarter panel, you can see where it was. It comes over top of this, and it spot welds onto this. So you can take the quarter right off there. Same as down below, the quarter panel comes down, and it spot welds along this lower edge. So you can take it off there. As you can see, we've got some rust repair to take care of. Now up on top, this gentleman did not buy the full quarters that go up into the sail panel. He bought the ones that just go up to the line here, the body line. Actually, they come over. I should say they come over. What I did was I've left some on extra because I don't want to cut this away yet till I'm ready to put the quarter panel on. Now you come across to the back, and again you can see right here it spot welds on. The panel goes in behind here, spot welds onto this. So you can take that piece off, and away you go. So basically the only extra I left on is up here until I'm ready to fit the quarter. Because I'm not ready yet, because as you get in here, there's a trunk pan extension that goes on here, which he's purchased, which is right, let me grab it. Oh, there you go. So that is basically your back of your quarter too. So that's going to go on there like so, if that makes sense. Before I can put that on, we can see we've got rust happening in here. So we're going to have to cut all this out, put a new patch in there. Then I'll deal with this after that's taken care of. So I'm going to take care of that first. Now next, you've got, this is your inner wheel tub, which are usually always pretty solid on most cars. The outer ones go because when the quarter starts to rust, the quarter panel attaches to this, and this all usually goes on the outer edge. So we got to replace that next. So that kind of goes up in here, and again, spot welds on. So this will be my first piece I will put on, will be the outer wheel tub. Then I will fix this. Then I will deal with this, and then we will get the quarter panel all put on where it should be. And before we put the quarter on, we'll get in here, we'll clean all this shit up, make it look nice, put some spray on there to stop it looking so rusty looking. I mean, you're never going to stop the surface rust from getting in here because, you know, you can never get in here again once the quarter's on, right? It's the way it is, right? You always got it. But very seldom does it rot out up in there anyway. So that's what we're going to do. So that's what's happening on this side of the car. So we're going to start there, and then we'll work our way over to the driver's side. So as I put these pieces in, I will continue to update this video a little bit, add little chunks into this video so you can see what's going on here. Okay, so that's it, guys. So I'm going to put the camera down now, get some more welding going on, and away we go. Okay, so next step here, guys, as you can see, is I've got the new outer wheel tub mounted in place. Now you have to make sure before you start welding and putting this panel in, you can see that I've put some channel locks on here to hold it in place. Now this is the second go around because what happened the first time I had it, I thought I had it lined up, but I quite didn't. So what you want to do is you want to channel lock it on before you're just going to start welding, because it looks like it's all fitting fine. And it can look like that all day long. Who gives a shit? It's an aftermarket panel. Don't trust aftermarket panels ever. I don't care who makes them. So, channel lock it on. Then what I did was I grabbed the quarter panel you see laying on the roof there, and I put the quarter panel up on the car to make sure the quarter panel fit properly against this edge of this outer wheel tub, because you have to remember on your quarter panel you're going to drill holes through it, and then you're going to weld it onto this panel, and that's how you're going to hold it on. So, but if this is down too low, this panel, it's going to throw the whole quarter panel off because the quarter panel butts up to this lip. So you can either have this too high or too low. So you got to put it on, test it out, see how it's going to fit, and try your quarter panel before you begin welding anything. So now we can tack this in place. So get a few tacks on it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come along. I'm going to fix this piece of rust first in here, which I really don't need to show you doing that. I'm just going to cut it out and put a patch in, whatever. Then we're going to get onto this panel here and fit it. We're going to again hold it on with our locks, and then we're going to try our quarter panel on one more time. Once we know everything fits there, then we're going to come along and we're going to weld this all up solid. Then we're going to do our good cleanup in here. We're going to get some nice texture spray undercoating under there. You can put a wax treatment on it also, which I've shown you in the past. And that's it, because you're never going to get back to this area again once you put the quarter on. So you want to make sure you deal with it now, and it should last you your lifetime. Not a lifetime, your lifetime. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, so we've welded this piece in now. And again, I held it in with our channel locks, vice grips, whatever you want to call them. You know, you've got your clamps. So I held it in place, grabbed the quarter panel sitting up there, made sure I slipped it over top, made sure that when I put the quarter panel on, it wrapped in here, fit here nicely, because this piece underneath all welds to the quarter. And as you can see from the outer wheel tub, this piece continues along as the lip, which your quarter panel welds to. Made sure it fit, took the quarter back off. Of course, I'm just setting the quarter on, and welded this in. So it's all welded in good. I had to do a little patch repair. I don't know if you can see it down in here, and behind it was rusted. So now what we want to do, get in here, wire wheel this shit, clean it up a little bit. And then you're never going to get in here again. So you want to seal it up with something. Now you don't want to spray stuff just right over bare metal, as you can see. I've got some bare metal there. But what I do use, I've always got my zinc weld through coating. Like say I'm putting a piece of metal on something, and on the back side I can never get to it again. Well, I always just spray this on the metal before I actually put it in where I am, so at least it's got some protection. So now, I've used this stuff before in behind these areas. You'll see I'll probably use it again here. It's the Proform Rubberized Gravel Guard. There you go, PF 532. Just use it out of a spray bomb. You can get it in the container and use a shoots gun, but for what we're doing over there, I don't need to use a shoots gun. It's just going to be a mess. You can also, Proform, right there, 707, if you see the number right down there, -1. This is a wax-based product. Now, they do make this in a spray bomb too. I don't bother with that. What I use this also has like a gun too. It's almost like a shoots gun. And you spray this on, leave it sit, and it's almost like, it's like candle wax. It's thick, it dries on there, and of course it covers everything up. And what happens is obviously what does water do when it hits wax? It just rolls right off, right? So this is another treatment. So, I'm going to put some primer on the bare metal spots you see there. Usually what I do then is I get in there with my texture spray, I do this. Then at the very, very end of the build, when the car is all done and finished, we get in there and we spray this stuff. Now you're probably asking, well, how do you get in there to spray that stuff when you've already put the quarter on? I don't put that stuff on first, because if I put the quarter on, it's just going to melt away. Like I said, what you do after is, I'll show you this. We'll run over here. I should have brought it down so you could have seen it. It's like a shoots gun. If you look right there, I'll point my finger at it. See that? You fill that up. Now see how it's got that long cable? And there's all different tips on it. That one's got a bend to it, a 90, some are, on a 45. You get in there and you get in behind, and the easiest way to get in behind with that is because it's got that long cable. See there, here's one right here. You can see I've done the texture spray, right? On the satellite. What you do is obviously, you can see right here, this quarter panel's still on. Well, you can see the line down there. You can get down in there with that thing. You can get up behind the wheel tub with it. You can shoot that stuff everywhere in behind. And how you would even get up into this area in here is obviously, you can see the holes. You would come through the inside of the car with the door panel off and spray it up in behind. So that's what we use there. So that is what's going on. But right now I'm going to shoot a little primer on here, then get some texture spray on it at this moment. So here we go. So you can see I've got the, I don't know if you can see down the wheel well, I've got the quarter panel clamped in place. I put a little spot weld at the back, and I put one inside the door jamb. So, in behind here, you just kind of drill holes, you plug weld it. Same as along here, welds to the, welds to the piece of metal that's in behind here. All down below, which you can't see, it welds all the way underneath to that new piece that you saw just earlier. Same as inside, the wheel here, it welds to the piece in behind. So we're going to take tire and wheel off, obviously, drill a couple holes, and it welds in behind, or into the piece that's in behind here, the outer wheel tub all the way across. Then, obviously, same thing happens inside the jamb. So we got some nice lines and gaps here. One thing I want to make out a point, can you see right here the body line, same as down here? You want to make sure, no matter how many times, I forgot to mention, when you're putting the outer wheel tub on in the back piece, you have to close the door, have the doors on, because some of these panels, believe it or not, I've seen them where the body lines are not in the correct area. So you want to make sure, because if you start welding this on, all of a sudden you close the door, you haven't got the door on the car. What if you put the door on the car and the body line of the car, or the door, doesn't match the quarter? You're kind of fucked, unless you're going to make it out of body filler. You really don't want to do that. Now up here, you saw that I had left a good 1/4 inch of metal of the original quarter panel on. What I'm going to do now is I run my grinding wheel across here, and I use this as the you know, the guideline, the new quarter, and I trim that piece away, and as I trim it away, this falls in, but I don't do it all at once. I'll start down here with the grinder, cut away up to here. This will fall in, I'll tack, couple spot welds, and then I'll grind more, and then tack, couple spot welds, and that leaves you basically a line much like you see here, which you always want a bit of a gap. You don't want to have metal on metal, because remember, metal expands when you get it hot. Here I took a little too much out, but it's better to have a little bit more out than not enough. I can always fill that, which I will. So that's what's going to go on here. Then what you do is you just go inside the car. This piece of metal, when you finally reach the end, will be laying in there. Take it out. Everything's butt welded. Grind your welds down from the inside the best you can. If you want to get carried away, you can throw a little putty in there. No one will ever know you replaced the quarter, and away you go. So that's what I do, because it kind of gives me a... Now you could cut it off, and you can buy the little clamping things, little clamping blocks, but I just find it's easier for me to do it this way. I'm by myself. I'm trying to lug this big quarter panel up on here by myself. It's easier for me to do it this way. And every quarter panel I've ever done, I've done it this way. It's always worked out. So the next step now is I'm going to start grinding a little bit away of that, like I told you, cutting it slowly away, doing some spot welds till it falls off. Done. Then we'll go ahead and we'll take our time and we'll just go back and forth, back and forth. Tedious, but back and forth so you don't get a lot of warpage. You're always going to have a little bit of filler, but at the end of the day, the only filler that you're really going to need now is up here. But if you run a block over these new quarters, I don't give a shit where you get them from, how they are. They all got little highs and lows, so you're going to end up skim coating the whole bloody thing anyway at the end of the day to make it perfect. So there we go. So this is the stage we're at now, people. Time to weld.